Fabulous. Thank you. So this is really what I say to everyone that I'm recruiting for, everyone I'm interviewing. I tell this to my team all day long. So hopefully this will resonate with you and you can find some inspiration. So my overarching topic is self-motivation. I typically say that being an SDR or BDR, it's just like wearing a Fitbit. Your goal for the day is to hit 10,000 steps. Sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's uphill, sometimes there's a pandemic and your gym is closed, but you need to find a way to get to those 10,000 steps. Anyway, being an SDR is just the same way. Every morning, you start out with a blank sheet, you have your goal and you have your strategy to get there. And the same thing for your week. You plan out your week and you know this is how I'm going to get to my goal, and you don't stop until you get there. So that's really the mindset that I want you to think about when we talk about these things. So I have 3 topics I want to go through. I have 3 themes. You create your job, you create your success, and you create your future. This is very much in your hands how you take this to the next step. No one starts out and says, I'm going to be a BDR or an SDR for life. People want to enter the sales organization, figure out where do I fit, and then pursue that dream. So let's start with you create your job. I like to say that there are 10 blocks of time in your week that I pay for. There's typically Monday through Friday, mornings and afternoons. If you choose to walk your dog, or you have a doctor's appointment, or you think that Monday mornings you're going to spend them on going to the gym, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to take one of the other blocks of time that you have, or you're going to give it to me, which could be evenings, it could be weekends. You're in charge of how you structure those 10 blocks of time, and you can see more value in maybe I'm going to spend Sunday evenings sending out emails to my C-level contacts because there's a tendency that they read them more on a Sunday night than on a Tuesday morning when they're busy in meetings. This is very much up to you and how you structure your job. The second thing, and this is super important, you create your voice. I am a firm believer that you and I can get on the phone, say the exact same words, and get 2 wildly different outcomes. So you need to think about your voice. You need to think about, how am I presenting myself as I talk? You notice maybe that Charlie, he was standing as he was presenting. Currently, I'm sitting. Think about when you're doing your outreaches, how are my shoulders? Am I giving myself enough space to be energetic? What am I projecting? Am I smiling? People can hear it on the phone if you are in an energetic, forward-thinking mood, or if you're slightly hungover from last night at the pub, or if you're really not feeling making phone calls that day. It comes through so easily. So you have to find your voice. Secondly, you create your success. You have to do what others don't want to do. That touches on some of the things that Charlie said, the extra 1 to 2%. If people don't want, if your colleagues don't want to send emails on a Sunday evening, maybe that's what you should do, because there's less traffic and you get more noticed. Maybe you do your research just a little bit better, so you find that little really strange nugget that your target never thought anyone would find, and they go, that was interesting. How did you know this about me? Or how did you make that connection from my interest in rugby to how I can apply this to my sales performance management, to give an example. The third point within this is, as Olivia mentioned, you need to use your organization. You need to leverage your network. Get to know your organization. Who within the organization is really clever on what topics that you can leverage, get inspired from, and also look at your entire organization as an extension of your business development. Anyone who's connected to anyone can help you out. So look at, do you know someone within your organization that went to the same university as your prospect? Do you know someone who's connected to a prospect or has worked at an organization that you're trying to get into? Reach out to them, build a relationship, so you're not just asking for favors all the time, but also go, hey, I'd really like to pick your brain about this. People love to talk about themselves. So utilize that and get them to open up and help you out. So that's my second point. You create your success. My third point is you create your future. Again, no one wants to be a BDR for life. But I'll tell you one thing, you need to love being a BDR in order to progress. If you don't love your job now, you're not going to get to the next step, because if you don't love your job, you won't be great at it. So you need to find the things about being a BDR that you really love and you really excel at, that gives you energy, that motivates you, that drives you, and leverage that, enhance that, and then you will do great work and you will progress in the pace that you want and into the role that you want. So that is really, really key to being a successful BDR. Also because, let's face it, it's a lot of phone calls, it's a lot of voicemails, and sometimes it's a lot of people yelling at you or hanging up on you, or as I've had it before, like people call, you don't know what they're going through when you call them up cold calling. So sometimes you call them and that they're at the hospital and like, I'm sorry, I'm saying goodbye to my parent. Now's not a good time. And I'll go, why are you picking up your phone? I didn't know, that's not my fault. So that's one of my other points around you create your future. This is just business. This is not brain surgery. There's no one's life or death depending on this. If you have a bad call, like that certainly was, and I still remember it 10 years later, put them on the back burner, call them back a little bit later, and they'll forget all about it. You won't, but they will, because they get so many phone calls. It's just business. My final point is, when you start as a BDR, expect change. You know that you want to progress your career pretty quickly, but within your BDR development, there's change constantly, and expect to be pushed to do different things, try different angles, try a new messaging. If you're stagnant and you think that this one approach is going to work with every single persona you're reaching out to, with every single organization, with every single industry, you're going to fail. You need to be agile and try different tools, different methods, play around with, hey, can I leverage things from social media? Can I leverage video? I found this really weird picture on Instagram. How can I spin it? And use your team, your colleagues to think about these things. So those are my three key things. It's very much in your hands how you create your future, and especially in these days, because we're all working remotely, and I am certainly not one for timing how many coffee breaks you take. I expect you to be self-motivated and be proactive in what you do.